Thanks for staying with us as we continue our countdown to this year's International Women's Month. We have an Amazon in the studio, a quintessential businesswoman, boardroom guru, seasoned speaker, also an erudite author. Welcome with us. We're so honored to have her in the house, Dr. Ibukun Awosika. Welcome to the show. Such a pleasure. We've been trying to get you on this show for years. We're so happy finally God made it happen today.
I run away from screens.
It's good to have you. So, because it's International Women's Month,
yes,
and as women, we still have a lot of struggles in homes, marriages, businesses, creating wealth, parenting. So much out there that we still need some supporting other women for. So, bringing you on the show today, we're just going to unpack it layer by layer, and we'll probably start with some of the messages we've seen on social media and people sending us messages coming that you're coming. And one of the first I like to start with is there was a video that went around where you were talking about how a woman, even though she's making more money than her husband, should always honor her husband. It's not the amount of money you make that makes your husband the head. He's an ordained role. And there's a woman who listened to you in her mid-30s and took that hook, line, and sinker and says, okay, because of that, I'm going to respect my husband regardless of what he's bringing in. Fast forward 10 years down the line, and she has respected him, honored him. He's still not making up to par to the family, and the kids are grown. Now we're talking about university, we're talking about we need more finances, and she's getting frustrated to the point that, where are we going? I've respected you, but yet you've not matched up to the plate. And secondly, you're now being, maybe there's issue of infidelity. So a woman now feels like, I have done everything, and yet you still don't get that honor back. So when a woman listens to you and she's thinking it's all going to go away if I just honor and respect him, and then happens it doesn't happen, how would you advise her? How would you choose to advise her?
Okay, thank you for having me. I know, when you put those narrations like that, it looks so absolute. But what we must pay attention to is we're looking for a solution for a problem that's already been created. Okay. What do I mean by that? We first need to go back to talking about how do young women choose their spouses? What do you consider in choosing who you marry? And what are you looking for when you choose who you get married to? What are your considerations? Now, obviously, between this example that we're talking about and many types like that, the girl might probably be in a position where she has a higher earning power from the onset. And the guy has a lower earning power. It's possible that a man is responsible, that he's God-fearing, that he's kind, that he's a good man, but economically, his wife earns more, just by the nature of their career path or the kind of jobs that they have. That's possible.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have that scenario, and it happens to a lot of people, a guy works in a bank, the guy works for government, in a public sector or something, or works in like FMCG or certain industries that are maybe not as high paying as the career of the girl. Now, do you want the guy to tell you to resign and look for a lower paying job just so that the order can be like that? So we need to sort of answer some questions, because when we get married, biblically, and that's where our point of view comes from, the Bible says, and the two is one, which means that when you get married, you become one unit. The economy of the family is what is key. And the economy of the family, there's many scenarios where the man is the one with the higher earning power. There are other scenarios where the woman earns more. And there are scenarios where you're both trying and pulling weight. And there are scenarios where one season this one is high, another season the other one is high. Now, should we say that the man should be as frustrated when the woman cannot contribute as much as him? Now, traditionally, whether we like it or not, traditionally and really by faith, across all faiths, The man is the head of the home. Now, and I know that sometimes we desire change, but you can't live outside of your context. And what is your context? The context tells you right now that in most societies, the man is the head of the home. So do you want to win in the context of your own time and your season, or you are looking for a time that has not come yet? And you want to play the terms of that season? So it's a practical position. So if for any reason you earn more, but the guy is responsible. See, there's a difference between an irresponsible adult man and a responsible man who is giving the best of what he has. But the best that he has is not more than yours. It should become irrelevant.
Agree.
Because in that case, it's the economy of the family. And you must be able to identify the good in him, the sense of responsibility, the value he brings, even though you bring more economic value. So those are the factors that we need to, and we will have, a lot of women will be more at peace when we don't make those our problems. You know, once you accept that, okay, this is my scenario, why are you even discussing the economy of your household with your friends? The bottom line is, your house is working.
Yes.
Be grateful.
I agree.
You guys, what if none of you have? Would you rather you have that position?
Let me get in a few more questions for you. Go ahead.
Thank you for clarifying this, because we've been back and forth on this particular point on the show when she talks about being the head, and I compare it to a situation where a man chooses to just be in a patriarchal dominance, where a woman is then made to be work and provide for me. You know, we've seen abusive circumstances like that. As a lawyer, I have dealt with a 26-year-old marriage where that was the norm. And he would say, they never born and where make she chop until I have eaten. She will cook for the family. So I found out she was like that from the get-go. Thank God that she said, you know, choosing from the beginning was important.
That is the key part. And we need to invest time in that. Ensure that girls are taught how to choose their husband. What are the key parameters? If we solve the problem before, the things we deal with after becomes a little different. And we need to teach women across different social levels.
Yeah, I agree.
Because our approach is different.
Thank you for the clarity. So that's my question.
Okay. Yeah, so is it a marriage question? Because I want to go straight to parenting.
No.
Okay, so Ma, of course, you know, you are respected and admired because for also being successful materially as well, of course, beyond your you know, wisdom. Yes, but there's also, because you have material wealth and you have raised sons, and we're in a time where a lot of families, you know, maybe they came from really poor resources, but they've been able to build wealth for themselves, and they are raising children in circumstances that are different from theirs, where they learned a lot of life lessons because of their tough background. Their children are in a different, you know, scenario, and they're wondering, what are the tools I need to teach? What are the tools I need? What are the skills I need to teach my children so that they have the same hunger and ambition that brought me here? So we find parents who are hardworking parents, you know, but their children just don't seem to have the same values as their parents.
Okay, to be honest, one of the things that should worry a lot of us the most is how to raise children right in the middle of plenty. If you have some comfort, you must be careful about how you raise your children. And I know that the values that we were raised with made a lot of difference. I do not come from a rich family. I come from a middle-class family. And middle-class families give you a good education. Your parents invest in a good education. They teach you what is right and what is wrong. And they send you to the world to make your way. Now, I think for all of us, and it doesn't matter what your economic status is, honestly, because we're just in a time and a season that is difficult to raise children. because the influences are high. The children are battling a whole world view that runs from one end of the world to the other. Helping them to find their cultural context and establishing the values that we were raised with, that becomes the responsibility of each one of us, and it has to be deliberate and intentional. I'll give an example. I remember at a stage when my kids were in school in England, we used to have all these arguments about they had friends who went to school only in business and first class. And so, you know, and when children enter the plane, you know, we have certain flights we call school bus. You say, are you going to the left or to the right? You know, and all of that. So one day, one of my sons asked me, and I said to him, I said, see, when you go in that economy, every person that you see there, adults, worked hard to buy the ticket. Exactly. You are there for free. Because somebody else paid for it. That the next time you fly business, you know, when they're really young, they have to fly with you. So they fly where you fly. But after, when you send them to the back, they will now complain. You now remind them that somebody worked hard to pay for that. So you put them there deliberately. So we have to be intentional. That's what I've realized. We as parents must decide, what are the values that I treasure? What are the things that I want to ensure that my children grow up with? I always say, I do not want to steal my children's dreams. And how do you not steal your children's dreams? If you use your own success to kill their own ambition, you have stolen their dreams. Because you set them up not to have a need. So you must intentionally create things in their lifestyle that helps to nurture them to want to be something. From the allowances you give to ensuring that for a certain stage of their life, even if you can afford first class, why should you put them there? You know, when you're a student and you're going to school, then you sit in certain places because that's ideal for you at that point. At a point, my husband and I decided that we'll give our children their, instead of weekly allowances when they were in boarding school in England, they'll get their allowance for the term in one go.
They have to manage it.
If you finish spending it. 1 week. That's your own problem.
Yeah.
Because you are going to then pay the price of not having that discipline. Then, if you go to shopping with children over the holidays, they want to buy everything when you're paying for it.
Yes.
Then we decided to change the pattern. This is your budget for the holiday. If you like, buy one thing with it. It's nobody's problem. All of a sudden, you start saying, I can't afford this, I can't afford this, I can't afford it.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.